Hey, thanks for checking out the Over the Line podcast, hosted by Caleb and Connor. We'll be talking about current NBA standings and trends and teams, and pretty much anything else you can think of in the basketball world, including our own childhood memories with the sport, and other sports to boot. So sit back, relax, and let's play Over the Line. All right, Connor. We're talking about Game 3 today of the NBA Finals. Sorry about our hiatus, guys. Life gets busy, you know. We both got summer internships, but enough about that. So Game 3 just ended, and I want to know, kind of what are your thoughts, Connor? Are you feeling kind of like upset that it's such a not close series? Or are you kind of admiring the dominance of the Celtics here?
So kind of a little bit of both. If these were any other teams, I'd probably be pretty pissed off that it's uncompetitive. But Nate, Gavin, and I made a deal back when we were really young, when we picked our teams, that whoever team won the NBA Finals first, they get $100 from the other two.
Okay.
And I did not want to lose. I don't want to lose $100, so I'm pretty heavy was rooting on the Celtics. But my overall thoughts, I kind of knew going into this series that it was going to be a little uncompetitive. I expected Dallas to win at least a game. I don't know if that's going to happen. As of right now, Dallas had this game. Like, this was their game to win. If they wanted any chance of coming back and winning the series, they had to win tonight. And they had it in there. They literally had it. And then Luka and Kyrie they had great games, but in that third quarter, they weren't big enough. They didn't keep it close enough. That comeback at the end was great, but it wasn't enough. And with Luka fouling out in those last 4 minutes, even though the Mavs kept it close in those last 3-4 minutes, you knew that they just weren't going to do it without Luka. So it was over at that point. And props to Jaylen Brown for attacking Luka on that last foul. That was a smart play, a really smart play. But yeah, my overall thoughts, just, the Mavericks have the best player in the series, but the Celtics are just so by far light years ahead of any other team in the NBA, in my opinion. They've been the favorites all year from the preseason, throughout going into the playoffs, throughout the playoffs, and crazy favorites right now, minus 7,000, to finish it out. NBA teams are 156-0 when they're leading 3-0 in any playoff series, so it's just not going to happen. The series is over. I'm just going to say it right now. Obviously everybody knows it, but I'm going to say it. It's over. But yeah, my overall thoughts of just kind of why this has happened in a very quick general way is just, I don't want to blame it on the Mavs, because I don't want to take away what the Celtics have done. But all the things that got the Mavericks here have just been absent. It's literally, that sparks from PJ and Derek Lively and even Kyrie before this game. The role guys, just Tim Hardaway, he was awful. Those guys just haven't been there. They haven't done what they needed to do. It's just been Luka. And on the flip side of it, besides Daniel Gafford, I'll give him his credit. He's had a pretty solid series so far, I'd say. He's done what he's been asked. But on the flip side, the spacing for the Celtics is just so beautiful. It's just watching them play is amazing, because there's all these players that could be that guy, and everyone you could tell is just sacrificing that role to get for the greater good. And that's kind of what Kidd was kind of trying to do when he made that comment of Jaylen Brown's your best player. He was trying to get in their head. And this team is focused on a bigger goal. Drew Holiday's his impact is insane. His penetration has just been crazy, because it's creating so much for Jason Tatum, Kristaps in Game 1, Jaylen Brown this whole series, Derek White, Sam Hauser had a game today. They don't win this game without Sam Hauser's threes today. And Jason Tatum, even though he didn't have the greatest first two games, he's done enough to help these guys too, with his playmaking, his passing, his rebounding, and his defense at times. Jaylen Brown's the Celtics defense is not getting enough credit. Derek White has been phenomenal on the defensive end as well. Jaylen Brown, Drew Holiday, even Tatum, they've been phenomenal defensively, and they're a big part of shutting down all those Mavericks key pieces. Like I was just talking about how they haven't done great. They've done a great job shutting them down, and no one's ever going to shut down Luka. He's going to get his own, but they're making Luka beat him, and that's not going to happen against a team this good. So yeah, those are my overall thoughts. I mean, sadly, this team was in a lose-lose situation all year. It was a sense of, oh, they better win, and if they don't win, then it's what a disappointment. And if they do win, then they were supposed to. And they're going to get it done, and it's all the Celtics can do, or go out and just do what they can do, and that's what they've done this whole playoffs and what they're doing this series.
Exactly. I'm feeling a bit of a warrior-itis, I guess, just because they're so they're outmatching their opponent so much, but they are, like the Warriors, a lot of fun to watch. They play the right way, and I really like the way Joe Mazzulla has been coaching them the whole season. Ime Udoka was a great coach too, and Joe Mazzulla's just followed him and done an even better job, arguably. They've had better players too. And, I really thought, like you said, this was the Mavs game. Porzingis was out. This was it. They had to do it. It's like Doctor Strange, this is their one chance, and they fucking blew it. So, yeah, like you said, in that third quarter, that was really hard to watch from the Mavs. They, the one-on-one play, it was working in the first half for a little bit. And then, once Luka goes out of the game, they start doubling Kyrie. No one else can create a shot after that. Watching PJ Washington take off the dribble like floaters that are contested in the lane. He's not going to make many of those. And, like you said, Sam Hauser, huge in the first half. Some of those threes he was making they were pretty just regular threes, but still, as a bench player to come in the finals, your first away finals game, that's pretty... Especially
with the lack of Porzingis there. He had increased minutes, and that was big out of him. They needed him to step up, and he did. Hey, shout out my boy Xavier Tillman.
I was just about to say that.
In his minutes, he played some good defense today. He had some clutch offensive rebounds. He was a horse today in the time that he was in. If you would have told me a couple years ago that Xavier Tillman, or that a Tillman and a Hauser would be wearing green and white winning a championship, I'd be like, hell yeah. And hey, man, it's happening. So I'm just
wishing it was for state.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. For sure.
Yeah, and Drew Holiday, his offensive rebounding was huge. He had a lot of really good hustle plays. So did Derek White. And Tillman, in that third quarter run they had, he hit a corner three, and then Derek White hit a bank three after that. So it was the third quarter, the Mavs, if they want to even take a game, they just need to keep their foot on the gas, honestly. And I think that's what kind of the Celtics took their foot off the gas, which allowed the Mavs to kind of come back a little bit. And, I'm going to give PJ Washington some flowers here. He hit 2 threes in a row to kind of propel that comeback into fruition a little bit. But, at the end of the day, Luka fouls out. The momentum, the Mavs were playing with the momentum, and the momentum kind of went away after 10 minutes of game time, flew by, after they were reviewing that play and stuff. And, credit to Jaylen Brown too, drawing that foul on him. I don't think Luka probably didn't realize that he had, the 5, and honestly, just not a very smart play from him to try and even go for that charge there. So, yeah, that the illegal screen from PJ Washington too screwed them over.
He seemed pretty set, but he definitely moved his shoulder into him.
It looked like he definitely shoved him over.
It was the right call, and then they challenged the previous play on Luka and wasting that, trying to get him in. And that if they didn't challenge that, they probably would have got the challenge right if they used it on the PJ play after, but they weren't able to. So
exactly. And there was a play before that where I think the challenge would have been used better too, honestly. The play right before Luka got the foul. I think they should have. I think the Mavs kind of messed up where they used that, because it was a pretty obvious blocking foul.
But I don't blame them. In that situation, it's really this is do or die. Maybe we get it, but yeah, it just obviously didn't work out for him.
Right. And then that first quarter, man, the Mavs got to get better at keeping their leads. They just they need some more ball movement. And I saw Draymond Green say that they need to get Luka in the post, and he tried. And Peyton Pritchard,
he did have a lot of fadeaways. He did have a lot of paint fadeaways today.
Yeah, and there was just some plays where Luka wasn't really doing as much, where you'd think he'd just go and eat. Peyton Pritchard was D'ing him up pretty good, which is that's the matchup you want. When that's not even working, it's what are you gonna do? So, I think if the Mavs are going to win a game, they can't take Luka out. They can rest Kyrie, but Luka has to play the game.
I personally think we don't even need to talk about what the Mavs need to do because there's no chance that they win this series. So like it's
exactly just to take a game though at least.
At this point, it's the thought of is it going to be in 4 or 5? That's really what it just comes down to because it's going to be 1 and 2. So
honestly, I think maybe the Celtics like lay off a little bit. Maybe they take another game, and they probably want to win in front of their home crowd. You know, I think they might kind of lay low next game. You know, you never know.
Yeah. I'm curious as to what's going on with Porzingis. I know that the extent of his injury is supposed to take like 6 to 8 weeks to recover from, but he's listed as day to day. I mean, It's really just a matter of we don't really know exactly what's going on. We don't know the exact. I see Tristan Jass in the background of. Hold up. You see that T-Jass right there?
Hey, what up, T-Jass?
I don't know why I just saw that. That's crazy. But
yeah.
Oh, all the 2 hype guys are there. You see them?
Oh shit!
I know, that's crazy.
That's
anyway,
crazy.
Yeah. What was I saying? I was talking about.
You're talking about if they were gonna take. You're talking about Porzingis, and then if they were.
Oh yeah, his injury. Yeah, I mean, I would imagine that he just doesn't come back. I mean, if they win, if the Celtics lose. In game 4 and he's able to somewhat play, I could see him playing game 5 just to like be on the floor when they close series out at home.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the Celtics have this in control. So I mean, it's there's no really need to. So
especially with their role players behind them playing as good as they are, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the one thing I want to see out of this series now, I just want to see Svi Mykhailiuk get some minutes. That's like former Piston. He's really the only connection I have to any of these teams, really.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm sure he will too.
Yeah, I just hope if the Celtics blow them out, I just want to see Svi get a couple minutes, hit a 3 maybe. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Game 3, man. I just wanted to talk about it because that third quarter was pissing me off. I was just like, dude, what is going on? Like, that
was rough. I guess a little closing. We don't have to go too much into it, but who's your current and prediction for Finals MVP?
I saw a graphic the other day that through the first 2 games, Tatum was averaging a triple-double, but honestly, I'm giving it to Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown has been the most consistent, and we were talking, dude, he hit the clutch shot that actually kind of won the Celtics the game today. He hit that, like, with a minute left, he hit a mid-range over, I think it might have been Kyrie, or...
No, it wasn't Kyrie. Kyrie was guarding, like, Jalen, or, Drew Holiday or something, but
maybe it was
PJ I know what you're talking about. It might have been PJ.
That top of the key
or Tim Hardaway. It might have been Tim Hardaway, but I don't.
Yeah, that top of the key, like mid-range shot. He fucking nailed that. And I thought it was
put him up 4, or put him up like 4 or something.
Yeah,
with like a minute left. Yeah, that was a clutch shot. Yeah, I'd agree. I'd say Jaylen Brown as well. The only way I could see it going the other way is if Jaylen Brown has a really bad game this next game and Tatum has a great game, but they still lose. And then going into game 5, Tatum has a really good game and Jaylen Brown doesn't, and they win. It'll be Tatum. But as of right now, if the series ended today, it's definitely Jaylen Brown in my opinion, and I do definitely think he's going to end up getting it. Tatum had a great game today, but so did Jaylen Brown. I mean, defensively too. I mean, he did it all. He has been doing it all. Not to take away from anyone, because there's a lot of guys in this team that they should all be. I mean, honestly, freaking Brad Stevens should be the Finals MVP with this team that you constructed. I mean, they should make
You could give it to the coach. You could give it to Al.
You could give it to. Honestly, give it to Xavier Tillman Sr. Baby.
Exactly.
So you could give it to anyone, but I definitely think that I also think it's gonna be Jaylen Brown. But
I think Tatum could get like a sneaky win just because he is averaging close to a triple double. So that's the only thing that.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that I think could keep him up. But if you watch the games, like, dude, Jaylen Brown, he's been pretty.
Yeah, he's been the best player.
He's been pretty much unstoppable. Those dunks too, just completely throw the momentum on the Celtics side. So
yeah.
Give
it to Dante Exum for that dunk on Jason Tatum in like this first quarter or whatever it was.
Oh yeah, dude, that was. And then he didn't play the rest of the game. They put Tim Hardaway in.
It's whatever.
Dude, putting Tim Hardaway in was a bad choice too. I don't know what. Like, dude,
bro was cheeks. Tim Hardaway's cheeks.
Yeah. Oh, I also want to comment about the refs, because I feel like the refs were leaning Mavs hard this game. Like,
until the end of the game.
Yeah.
Until the end of the game. But yeah, I would agree with you, dude. Luka, I like Luka and everything, but man, his bitching is just so annoying sometimes. Like he takes it too far, like to the point where it's like he's at the point now where he's a superstar, and he definitely has that entitlement that he like knows he's a superstar, and he's like every single play, it's the craziest complaint. It's like prime LeBron. Like
no, exactly. That's what it reminds me of. The Cavs.
Yeah, it really reminds me of. Yeah, but.
And plus it hurts his team when he's back there complaining or laying on the ground. Like
there was multiple times where he like laid on the ground and didn't say anything, and then the Celtics come down and get a transition 3 because he's sitting there bitching and not hustling back. I mean, though he's out here saying after game 2, I lost the game for a team because of my missed free throws or whatever. No, you lost the game because you're not being disciplined on defense and getting fouled out, and you're not hustling back on defense to get stops because you're too busy bitching you didn't get a foul call when you really got blocked. I would say that's more impactful for what actually happened to them than his 3 missed free throws out of 17 or whatever. But I don't know. That's what I think.
And they just, like you were saying, they need more ball movement too. They're not doing the things that got them there. And
I agree.
I think
it's kind of hard to against a team like the Celtics, though. It is.
It is so much length, and I think they're perfectly built for today's NBA. Everybody can shoot. It's even Tillman. Even Tillman can shoot. Everyone can shoot the 3 ball. Everyone's quick on defense, sliding their feet. Very disciplined players, high IQ players too.
Yeah,
perfectly built. So it's hard to beat.
Before we end, I want to give a shout out. Not a shout out, but just a quick RIP to Jerry West.
Exactly.
He's the first person to win a Finals MVP on the losing team.
He's the only one, right?
Only one, yeah. And he also, I think, wasn't he the first Finals MVP? I'm pretty sure he started it. Yeah, he won the first one, but I don't know. And
I wouldn't put it past him.
But yeah, RIP to the logo. Crazy. He had Mr. Clutch, they call him. 14 All-Star appearances. He's Lakers great. Just wanted to make sure we mentioned that a little bit too.
Yeah, rest in peace to Jerry West, and full of knowledge. It was great watching him, and there's a really good all-star draft that the TNT crew did and stuff, and Jerry West was on there, and he's a very just really knowledgeable guy about he's an NBA encyclopedia, walking encyclopedia. So
definitely.
He was fun.
Him and the Mavs got a lot of this series, and Jerry West had a lot in common, and they're both dead. So,
unfortunately.
Yep.
Alrighty.
All right, man.
That's gonna do it for this short little Game 3 episode. Hope you guys enjoyed.
I'm sure we'll be back after the series is done, which might be really soon. Which I'm sure it will be.
Might be Friday night.
Yeah, well, we're probably going to be doing a recap for the whole season, giving away some of our awards, some of our highlights of the season, and
we'll have to come up with some
things of that nature for sure. So, hopefully it'll be a longer episode. This is just quick because we both got to get up super early and game just ended. But
all
right, well, thanks for watching, you guys.
Yep. Peace out. See you next time.
Out.